Seahawks are making moves. We got to talk about it. There's actual football. People being added. Guys getting cut. Let's talk about it all in this episode of Seahawks Digest. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of the show that is thrilled beyond belief to have actual football stuff to talk about as camp gets here. We got a lot of content coming out every single day, so that's why I say like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what subscribe is. If you want to write it down, you're more than welcome to. But we got to talk about signing Brandon Johnson to add depth at the cornerback position and cutting Harrison Bryant at the tight end spot. Both of these, I think, are A-plus moves. Maybe not move the needle with an A-plus, but I think these are the right steps to be taking. Currently, with all this, I want to hear from you guys on this because we never know until we get there. But I think it's pretty evident that the right decisions are still being made despite new ownership. I say that somewhat sarcastically, somewhat seriously. Before we get any further, I got to give you a quick Prize Picks ad read. Thank you very much to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. If you want to use the code DIGEST, DIGEST, when you're signing up, they'll give you $50 when you play your first $5 in lineups instantly. Okay, let's get to the overall move. Johnson, here, we'll bring this one full screen for you. I'm still learning some of the new OBS shortcuts that they've got here for me at Digest. Johnson was signed with the Eagles out of Oregon. He only played in 3 games as a rookie. He was on the practice squad for the overwhelming remainder of the season. At Oregon, pretty dang good. Oregon in general has been a very elite, prolific football program the last couple of years. So to add another guy with an Oregon pedigree, I think is a fantastic decision. Whether or not this winds up being, that's the next Richard Sherman or this, that, or the other. Okay. I can kind of say that maybe this is just adding in bulk right now. Per what is actually listed on the Seahawks website, not a ton of depth at the cornerback position. Now, this is bound to change by the end of camp. But I think at the same time, it's nice to know, even when you've got solidified true starters, that the team is still going out and actively pursuing depth beyond that. I think that the cornerback, let me just say all the defensive back positions, or maybe I can even zoom out to say the whole defense under Coach Macdonald has been a Swiss Army knife of positioning and repositioning guys to be in their best possible, most advantageous situation. And sometimes that means switching into this package over here for 2 plays, and then this guy's lining up for blitzing, and then Nick Emenworry's here, and then that guy's over here, and it's not a defense that's stuck in some draconian, we gotta run a 3-4, and then if we get, we'll run our thing, and then if they beat us, they beat us. I don't know who that's just an amalgamation of all old coaches. So when you have Devon Witherspoon, he is one of the best, but then Josh, Joe, Nehemiah Pritchett, both very good defensive backs, to be able to put them in one style of pass coverage versus another, run this deep, that over there, because you've got Ty Okada, you've got other help over the top, and then just to add fresh legs into that, I'll take that over a lot of other depth. In my opinion, if we were adding another wide receiver, it might be flashy in the sense of so-and-so, if we did the Stephon Diggs move, or if we did something like that, I can be all right, cool. It adds more. But at some point, we already have our playmakers there, and you're not going to end up spreading the ball to a million different receivers just for the sake of spreading the ball out. So defense, there's some good options for flexibility from play to play, from scheme to scheme, from drive to drive. And I think that adding someone like Brandon Johnson, at least at the beginning of the season, to just add some depth is a fantastic move. On the other side, Harrison Bryant getting cut. We'll be curious to see if he ends up getting through to waivers onto the practice squad, and if we see more of him this season, or if he is elsewhere bound. Decently talented guy, probably going to land on his feet, but if you look the same way I'm realizing now that is too small for that, so let's go full screen with it. The tight end depth is exactly what I was talking about with that wide receiver room, where right now, even if we're running double tight and we have A.J. Barner flexed out, like we already got 4 guys, all of whom I think any of these 4 could be the starter in the sense of like, if we like AJ Barner to me is the starter. So I'm not trying to dissuade or discredit his football skill and acumen, but I'm saying that right now, like if we were going into the season in a vacuum and you just said Elijah Arroyo is our starting tight end, I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't hate it. I don't love it necessarily, but I don't hate it. And tight ends, especially, I think it'll be really interesting to watch Brian Fleury's offense come together, because the Flurinator has gotten a lot of preconceived notions from the NFL insiders. Shout out Ryan Clark. If you're looking for a job, come apply to Seahawks Digest. We'll move you on to the second round of interviews. But in all seriousness, they seem to think that this guy, because of his association with or his usage of George Kittle, has a really good feel for the tight end position. So if you're telling me we're already 4 deep and that Brian Fleury has spent an off season meeting with these guys, game planning, scheming, coming up with some sort of overall offense for this group right here, and that in turn he does not see a need for Harrison Bryant, then, it's a zero-sum game. And if our trade-off is add a little defensive depth in exchange for cutting some offensive fat, like I said, I think that's a smart base, good, moving in the right direction. Maybe an A+ was overreactionary at the beginning. Maybe I'll just give it an A. But that's what I got for you. I think it's another day closer until we get to actual football, which is fantastic. And it's real moves to talk about. So before we get out of here, I got to say thank you again to Prize Picks. They are America's #1 sports pick app, the sponsor of this video, the sponsor of all of the Digest channels. And right now, if you want to use the code DIGEST, DIGEST, when you are signing up, Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 in lineups. If you're a returning user, no worries. Prize Picks has you covered. They will hook you up with the Taco Tuesdays that they've got all Tuesday. Every Tuesday, their board is serving up discounted projections. They got Flex Fridays. Use your Flex Friday boost to increase your payouts by up to 40%. Once again, that's code DIGEST, DIGEST, when you're signing up for America's #1 sports pick app. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Seahawks Digest. 10 minutes closer now to the start of the football season. We'll talk to you guys next time.